Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to cap off what's been a really exciting race weekend here at the Oswego Raceway. We have been able to cut down our top 8 to our top 6 in the T Walch Truck Series. We've been able to cut down our top 12 to our Elite 8 in the Pizza Hut X Series. And here tonight, we get ready to begin the first race of the second round of the playoffs for the Hersheys Cup Series drivers here in Season 5. Last week, we ended up seeing the first elimination race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which whittled our field from 16 playoff contenders down to 12, which of course saw the early departure of a couple of rookies, K Shearer and Caleb Farrell, as well as former playoff drivers J Shelton and Cole Baker. So that leaves us now with 12 drivers left to compete for the championship. And so far here in the playoffs, all 3 of our playoff races have been won by playoff drivers. We had Joshua Michaels win at Chicagoland, Dylan Young won at Bristol Dirt, and Daniel Guilbert, who starts on the pole here tonight, won last week at Indianapolis. We also had 4 drivers during the course of the first round of the playoffs. 4 playoff drivers managed to pick up very valuable stage wins, which of course gave them playoff points here into this next round. Dylan Young, Daniel Guilbert, and Joshua Michaels, obviously, with their trips to victory lane. And Charles Sandfer was another driver who managed to pick up a stage win during the course of the first round of the playoffs. So they all come in with either a 1 or 2 point advantage over the other 8 drivers. And we'll document all those drivers in just a brief moment. But one thing that we should keep in mind here tonight is, unlike the 2 races we had here this weekend already with the Truck Series and the Pizza Hut X Series, this is not an elimination race. This is actually the start to a new round for these drivers. So these drivers here tonight want to go to victory lane just as much as they wanted to in the past 3 weeks because, again, an automatic ticket into the round of 8 if you go to victory lane here tonight if you're a playoff driver. So there's going to be a lot of fighting up here at the front, I do believe, for that top position. Your 12 playoff drivers coming into this race are Dylan Young, Charles Sandfer, Daniel Guilbert, Joshua Michaels, Trent Dunham, Dallas McIntosh, Sean Gallighan, Garrett Sydnor, Chris Dodd, Alex Drayton, Anthony McCrury, and Benjamin Miles. Will we see one of them take the checkered flag in this one here this evening and not even have to worry about what comes up in the next few weeks at Lime Rock and Riki? We'll have to wait and see. It's time to go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports. Let's go and get them right now.
Is this on? Drivers, start your engines.
Command is given. Pace car will lead them around for a pace lap here. We have 3 stages here tonight. Those stage points we have seen are so important here this season, whether it be the regular season or the playoffs. And it will be 15, 15, and 15. Now, we worked 3 cautions in our T Walch Truck Series race here 2 nights ago, and we went completely caution-free in the Pizza Hut X Series race here last night. Will we see a caution flag here tonight, or will this thing go into a long green flag run from start to finish? We're going to have to wait and see. Daniel Guilbert on the bottom, J Bryant alongside. It's time to begin round number 2 of the playoffs in the Hersheys Cup Series. Let's roll! Dylan Young had 2 stage wins during the first round, so he comes in over the rest of the field 2 points ahead. Charles Sandfer, Daniel Guilbert, and Joshua Michaels each had 1 stage win during the course of the first round of the playoffs, so they come in 1 point over everybody else. As the caution flag is out already, J Baskinger was able to get the race lead there in a 3-wide move, and that answers the question. We're not going to go green from start to finish. And now the question is, were any playoff drivers involved? It looks like Levi McIntyre and B Allan were collected up in whatever this was. Both drivers had solid outings at Indianapolis last week. Levi McIntyre ended up finishing in the 15th position, and he was up inside the top 10 for most of that race. And B Allan also was up inside the top 10 for most of that race, and she ended up finishing back in the 30th position after, I think it was some pit stops or something. So we're under caution very early here. I don't think you'll see these drivers hitting pit lane because they can make it the full race on 1 tank of fuel. Then again, maybe I'm wrong. Are they going to come to pit road? I don't see why they would. No, they're not. Okay. So as we're under caution for the first time here tonight, let's see what happened. There's the contact between Brooke Allen and Levi McIntyre. She just gets him in the left rear quarter panel, and he comes down and collects Sean Gallighan in the 44. That's a playoff contender, as is the car they sweep up as well, the 77 of Alex Drayton. And that is not a safer barrier that those drivers hit, so that's some pretty significant damage for both Gallighan and Drayton. And the last thing they wanted at the very start of this second round is to find themselves behind the 8-ball with damaged race cars and maybe find themselves heading into next week's race at Lime Rock in a elimination position. But that's what brought out the yellow flag. It was pretty close to the rear of the field as well, and it puts us under caution for the first time here tonight. Getting ready to go back green. J Baskinger, we saw with that bold move 3 wide on J Bryant and Daniel Guilbert, was able to take the top position for his first win of the season. Levi McIntyre spent a little bit of extra time on pit road getting the damage repaired on his 99, so he is 1 lap down to the leaders. Everybody is still running though. 38 of our 39 drivers are still on the lead lap, but we're going to have to keep tabs on the 44 and 77 and see if they're up to speed as the green flag comes back out on lap number 8. Baskinger with a good start. Bryant does the same. Both managed to clear the lap car of Levi McIntyre. Now Daniel Guilbert left to contend with McIntyre's Ford. We have never had a driver win 4 races in a single season in the Hersheys Cup Series, but a lot of people looked at this driver right here. Oh, trouble! The caution out, that's Charles Sandfer, who was slow, and I don't believe is now on the lead lap. I believe he just fell a lap down. Something happened with the 0-3. And he just got going again, and now I believe he's trapped off the lead lap, and that's another playoff contender. We'll see what happened to him, courtesy of our NNSCRA split cam. Gonna go back to what I was talking about real quick with Joshua Michaels. 3 wins this season already, and Joshua Michaels is the defending winner of this race. So we'll have to see if he can go back-to-back in 2 seasons. He's up to the 6th position. Right now, the highest-running playoff driver is Daniel Guilbert, but he's got Anthony McCrury right behind him in the 5th position. So these two are going to fight it out to see who's going to be the highest-running playoff contender when we get to the completion of this first stage, which we are closing in on rather quickly. Baskinger out in front, Bryant in 2nd, K Mathews up there in the 3rd position. Jessica Shelton got eliminated from the playoffs last week in Indianapolis. Already early troubles for Charles Sandfer. So right now, the only driver at the moment that's having something go good for him is K Mathews, currently in the final podium position. That battle back there for 4th still continuing to heat up. As a matter of fact, we've got another playoff contender now in this battle with Joshua Michaels. Trent Dunham also trying to close up on this as he's in the 7th spot. McCrury going to look to the inside of Guilbert for the 4th position. Why is he so insistent on getting by him? That point is a playoff position, a stage point, which could be an important point when we get to our next elimination race at Riki. Joshua Michaels now going to fill the hole. McCrury made down low on Daniel Guilbert. Gilbert now finds himself from 4th, now back to 6th, and Trent Dunham trying to close up the gap as well. Out in front, J Baskinger continues to show the way, and he will win the first stage of the evening here at Oswego. And I'm wondering if that is Baskinger's first stage win of the season. I'm not certain. That is only his 2nd stage win of the season. He did have a previous win earlier on this year, but it's obviously not been the kind of season Baskinger has looked for, as a couple of other playoff drivers were able to get some stage points as well. McCrury, Michaels, Dunham, and Gilbert. So that will be very important for them heading into the upcoming races at Lime Rock and Riki. So we've already documented drivers that are running well. How about some of the playoff contenders that are struggling? Oh wow, look out. Problems for the 89 of Quentin Moore. And he's going to come to a stop. They may have to throw a caution for that. Comes to a stop. Is the yellow out? Yellow is out. Caution is waving. Quentin Moore, troubles for the rookie in the 89. He had to come to a stop on the track, could not make it back around. NNSCRA officials having to throw the yellow flag. And I bet that was a yellow flag J Baskinger did not want to see. Right then, everything was going his way, and now he's got everybody on his back bumper once again for another restart. Oh, we already saw basically what just happened there to bring out the caution. Quentin Moore came to a stop. And Charles Sandfer is 2 laps down to the race leaders now. Quentin Moore is also 2 laps down. So let's quickly give you a look at the where the playoff drivers are here under our second caution of the evening. McCrury is 4th, Michaels is 5th, Daniel Guilbert is 6th, Trent Dunham slid back to 9th, Garrett Sydnor is 13th, Dylan Young in 16th place. Dallas McIntosh is back in 28th, Alex Drayton 29th, Chris Dodds in 33rd, Sean Gallighan 34th, Benjamin Miles in 36th, and Charles Sandfer back in 39th. So there's a number of drivers that are struggling. McIntosh, Drayton, Gallighan, Dodd, Miles, and Sandfer. And with more drivers struggling, that just makes the drivers that are running well here tonight have that much more of a cushion heading into the next upcoming races. Let's see when we get the 1 to go signal here. Baskinger, I'm certain, would like to see it just as soon as possible. And we will probably get the 1 to green signal next time around. Baskinger, of course, heading into this season was 4 for 4 in making it into the playoffs. Whether he was driving a Chevy, driving a Ford, or driving a Dodge, he had made the playoffs in all 3 of those manufacturers. The most recent, of course, being a Dodge Dart last season for Fitzwater Australia Racing. Now over with AS Racing and missing his first playoffs berth of his career in the Hersheys Cup Series. So now just out there trying to get the best finish he possibly can. And I'm looking here at a driver like K Mathews. This is a really important run for him too, because one topic we don't talk a whole lot about here during the course of the season that really we need to is that the drivers that finish the lowest, the 5 lowest finishing drivers in the point standings this year, they will lose their charters to the top 5 highest finishers in the Pizza Hut X Series. And right now, those 5 drivers in those danger zones right now are Nathan Hudson, K Mathews, Tim Walsh, Cody Llamas, and rookie Cody Smart. So this is a very important run for a driver like K Mathews to try and get himself out of that cut line. He comes into this race 3 points behind the next driver ahead of him in point standings, which is L Alvarise. So we'll see if he can close the deal out with a good run here tonight. Former champion of the Hersheys Cup Series, as we are now back under the green flag here on lap 24. Charles Sandfer in a bit of a hole to start off this round of playoffs, 2 laps down. He did actually just bypass Quentin Moore, which was for position, so every point helps, but Charles Sandfer now hoping that some other playoff drivers will encounter some issues here before this one's over. Sandfer playing a little bit of defense here for his teammate K Mathews, holding up J Bryant on that outside line. So that allows Mathews to move to second, but Baskinger has scampered away. 3 wide further back as they're trying to make their way around the slower machine of Levi McIntyre. That was Daniel Guilbert and Brandon Gonzales that split him 3 wide. That's a battle going on right now for the 6th position. Gonzales had that great run last week in Indianapolis. It was looking like he was going to win the thing, but after the green flag pit stop cycled around, Gonzales found himself back in second, and Daniel Guilbert passed both Gonzales and the then race leader Emmanuel Hartnett to take the checker flag. Michaels to the inside of Anthony McCrury. This is for the 4th position. McCrury, the former champion. Michaels in his very first playoff berth. Looks like Michaels may complete the pass here out of turn number 2, and indeed he will. L up front. J Baskinger still showing the way. Baskinger, one of his wins in Hersheys Cup Series came at Bristol Dirt, so he knows how to get around these dirt tracks, and showing it off right now. Almost a case of what we saw last night in the Pizza X Series race. If there's a car that is wound up and good to go, there's nobody that's going to be able to reel him in and catch him. And nobody's been able to catch Jake Baskinger since the drop of the green flag. He made that move 3 wide after starting the race in 3rd, got the race lead, and nobody has been able to challenge him since. Even with that caution coming out that last time, he still was able to get a good jump and has still got about over a second lead between himself and the current second place driver of K Mathews, which I think the caution may be out again, and indeed it is. I think the color Baskinger hates here tonight is yellow. And again, the yellow flag waves. This will be for the 3rd time here tonight at Oswego. And this time we will get to look at a replay because we weren't able to actually see what brought out that caution as we were able to the last time. And it may have very well involved another playoff driver. Benjamin Miles is near the rear of the field here. May have also been a case of what we saw in the Texaco Truck Series race with a car getting sideways and saving it, but they still throw caution. So let's see what it was. 3rd caution of the evening here at Oswego. Baskinger out in front. Will probably get the restart with about 10 laps to go. And it was last week's winner, Daniel Guilbert, getting spun off the nose of the former champion, the defending champion of the Hersheys Cup Series, M Haas in the 78. Daniel Guilbert going to lose some very valuable spots right there. I believe he was running in the top 10 at the moment, and you just see all of these spots he's going to lose. That's a tough break there for Daniel Guilbert. A solo car spin on the back straightaway puts us under the caution for the 3rd time here tonight, and it involves a playoff driver. Well, that hurt Daniel Guilbert for certain. Yes, his car was not wrecked, but he was inside the top 10. Now, on this restart, he will be back in the 20th position. It'll be 10 laps to go when we get the green flag, which means we will not have lap traffic lining up on the inside line. It'll be a single file restart. It'll be Baskinger, Mathews, Bryant, all looking for their first win of the season, the top 3, with Michaels and McCrury completing the top 5. Green flag back in the air, 10 to go here at Oswego. Baskinger has been dominant today, and he's looking to be no different here on this restart. Mathews with a rear decklet full of J.T. Bryant. Top 3 single file all the way back. Battle back there. Well, not really a battle for position. Trent Dunham in 7th trying to get by the lap car of Charles Sandfer. I believe everybody is still running. Yep. We do have 36 drivers still in the lead lap. McIntyre 1 lap down. Sandfer and Quentin Moore 2 laps down. And as things stand at this current point in time, the drivers that would head into Lime Rock in the danger zone would be the cars of Sean Gallighan, Benjamin Miles, Charles Sandfer, and Alex Drayton. With the way that it's running at this current point in time, Mathews has been able to shake free of J.T. Bryant. Now the question is, can he do anything to close up the gap between himself and the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet? Baskinger, 4-time chaser, 0-time champion. K Mathews, a former champion of the Hersheys Cup Series. Got a battle back there for what looks like the 6th position. Trent Dunham trying to get around Brandon Gonzales. Dylan Young has now fought his way up into the top 10. There he is in a tooth and nail battle with James Richardson. You've got Brooke Allen in this group and a couple of drivers that have now just recently lost their playoff contegs. The 95 of Caleb Farrell, and right behind him the 34 of K Shearer. Dylan Young will try once again to get 9th place away from James Richardson. Meanwhile, closer up towards the front, Baskinger has now grown a little bit of daylight between himself and K Mathews, who in turn has daylight between himself and J.T. Bryant. Michaels is currently the highest running playoff driver as McCrury just lost a spot to Brandon Gonzales. Gonzales moves to 5th, McCrury back to 6th, and now Trent Dunham in 7th trying to close in on the dishonored 2 Chevy SS. J Bryant took a look there to maybe have a different entry into the corner against K Mathews as he tries to close up for 2nd. He is there. Can he make a move down into 3 is the question. And that now allows Joshua Michaels to close in on this battle for 2nd. All going on currently behind J Baskinger. So far this season, only 1 win for AS Racing in the form of J Sydnor. That was enough to get him into the playoffs. J Baskinger trying to pick up the 2nd win of the season for the team. I don't think anybody's going to be able to challenge him. He's had the strongest car all night, and he will see the white flag this time by. It's been a clinic by J Baskinger, who has had the strongest car of the evening. Best battle may be for 2nd, because it certainly ain't going to be for the race lead or the race win. Jake Baskinger through 3 and 4 for the final time will finally snap his winless streak. He will take his first win of the season. Checkered flag to Jake Baskinger here tonight at Oswego. And you go back to the move of the race, you can go all the way back to the very start at lap 1, the 3-wide move for the race lead. And he led every single lap after that. So 2nd AS Racing driver to go to victory lane here this season. Jake Baskinger finally finding victory lane once again. And now we have completed the first race of the 2nd round of the playoffs to set us up for Lime Rock. So let's see what the official results tell us of what we can see for a scenario heading into that winding road course. Baskinger with the win, Mathews in 2nd. That was, as we mentioned, a very important 2nd place finish for Mathews to be able to get himself back up into the top 34 in the point standings, which are basically where the Chargers are going to remain for this season since we have a 39-car field. J Bryant, solid outing for him as he's going to get 3rd. 4th place was Joshua Michaels, the highest finishing playoff driver. Not really that much of a surprise since he was the defending winner at this track, so another solid dirt track outing for him here at Oswego. Brandon Gonzales going to bring it home in 5th, and then you've got playoff contenders Anthony McCrury in 6th and Trent Dunham in 7th. They'll have a nice little cushion for themselves heading into Lime Rock. M Haas will bring it home in 8th. Dylan Young was able to battle up into the top 10 late in this one to get 9th, and J Richardson completed the top 10. But where did the rest of the playoff drivers finish? J Sydnor was 17th. Chris Dodd was able to battle back for 22nd after running at the back most of the day. That spin really hurt Daniel Gilbert. Was up in the top 10 for most of the evening. Finishes the night out in 23rd. Dallas McIntosh finished back in 26th with Alex Drayton in 28th place. Sean Gallighan was in 31st. Benjamin Miles finished the last car on the lead lap in 36th, and of course that early trouble for Charles Sandfer trapped him 2 laps down for a majority of the race to finish in the 38th position. So as things would stand right now, the drivers, as I mentioned, that would head into Lime Rock currently in the danger zone in slots 9 through 12 would be Drayton, Gallighan, Miles, and Sandfer. Can they fight their way out next week at Lime Rock? Only time will tell. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race, though, from Oswego. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become a part of the crew today. We've shown your full finish results. These are your rookie points, your overall points, and your playoff points heading into our next race, the 2nd race of the 2nd round of the playoffs at Lime Rock. And that'll be the next race you see, because next week it is only Hersheys Cup Series action, Trucks and Pizza Hut X Series taking an off week, and we will race at Lime Rock for Hersheys Cup Series action. Then you'll see all 3 series back once again the following week at the Super Speedway of Riki Raceway. We will have the first race of the 2nd round for Trucks, first race of the 2nd round for Pizza Hut X, and our 2nd elimination race for the Hersheys Cup Series. All that coming your way and more. Hope you guys will tune in for those. Till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA. Offline racing at its best.